All right, so another day where I woke up way too fucking early on the weekend, and might as well, the first thing I do before I have to do anything else, I might as well make a video analysis because these usually take me anywhere from an hour to two, depending on like what's in the video. And so today we're gonna be reacting to Skyebrows Army. We came to slop. Great name, by the way. Hopefully that dog barking in the background doesn't come in the audio, right? But where was I going with this? Oh yeah. This is one of those ones that I got tagged in, kind of like the new play astronomical video, where I'm pretty sure, just because of the way I was told, well, actually, I was told directly, like right after I figured out that I was probably in that video, that I am actually in the video, right? So that react will come soon. Yeah, this is one of those ones where I was told to give it a look, but the way I was told to give it a look kind of tells me I'm probably in this particular video, right? So without further ado, we shall look into this one, and hopefully later today I will be able to record, no promises, but like hopefully I will be able to wrangle in Doctor of Insanity to record the commentary on my first video essay. That's a proper video essay. So there's that, right? So let's make sure this is all the way up. Okay, good. So let us, without further ado, chug along, eh? Actually, hold on. Let me check something. You know what? Fuck it. I'll check if the lyrics are there later. I'll just keep the lyrics on just in case the lyrics were manually entered. Because I have noticed that, like, if the lyrics were manually entered into the captions, they often aren't put into the description. There's Dot Pocket in his gamer chair, right? Actually, I kind of like that chair. Not gonna lie. What an opening scene. You have the abolish ICE, no one, I'm gonna move my microphone, hold on. Abolish ICE, no one is illegal. Fat positivity feminist movement with a rainbow colored hairs. There's one who actually has a rainbow colored hair, actually. The fucking nose ring theory, oh my god. Just fucking raging against the police who are trying to maintain law and order, right? Oh my god. Yeah. I don't think I have to explain how this is, how the one side is very obviously correct and the other side is very obviously dumb, right? Oh my god. I will say, the AI has been a lot kinder to some of the ladies on screen than realistically they should have been rendered, right? I'm just saying. Given the, again, some of the things that is very clearly being like targeted here, in terms of like, again, Marxian ideology, have like the fat positivity movement was very Marxian inclined, right? Or it's not fat, well, fat positivity and body positivity in general, right? But anyway, so yeah, the no one is legal is very clearly a emotionalist argument. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we're not saying your existence is illegal. We're saying very clearly that you being here is trespassing, right? That's basically what the argument boils down to. And yes, since land can be owned, who is allowed and not allowed on a given property is, you know, also determinable. And in the system that we currently operate under, the nation as a whole is collective property, with private property being instantiated within that collective ownership of, you know, the national territory. So now I am definitely for a privatize all of it crowd, right? But that's more of my paleo libertarian and anarcho-capitalist tendencies, right? But yeah, it obviously ties together with abolish ICE, because again, it's immigration custom enforcement. So yeah, and it's like, well, how will we enforce immigration for, like, to keep the criminals out? Well, that's immediately rebutted by no one is illegal anyway. So it's like you have that whole criminal critical studies bullshit where it's, you just apply the Marxian logic to, again, crime studies, or it's like the oppressive force is the law abiding, so that's the bourgeoisie. It's the law abiding and law enforcement, and then you have the proletariat class is the criminal class, right? The one that's oppressed, allegedly. So anyway, without having to go onto a Marxist, anti-Marxist screed on how each of these ideologies I just outlined are, you know, based in Marxian class conflict applied through an intersectional lens, let's continue on to the song, right? Yeah, the shoving match with police, right? Actually, hold on. I'm curious who actually started it in the video. I don't know if that was, like intentionally chosen. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I could just do the 5 seconds back. Okay, well, in this case, the police do put their hands on the ladies first, fair. But also, I mean, that does happen. Sometimes it is really the police that do start it, and sometimes it really is the protesters that start it, but there also could be extenuating circumstances that are just not obvious in a segment of film such as this. So, I'm not going to be paying too much attention into that, because I don't know how much of this part was, like, intentional, but... Fucking... Yeah, the queer theorists, it's not, yeah, the queer theorists, because a lot of the mainstream LGBT community is undergirded by queer theory, and we'll be perfectly honest, and that is just an anti-normative Marxian ideology. But yeah, Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, 1993 to 2005. The assassination of Charlie Kirk, the man who really just wanted to talk to people and, like, keep the conversation going so it didn't devolve into violence, definitely activated a lot of people, to be perfectly honest. Not just on the right, but also on the left. We saw, for example, how horrified Shoe on Head, who is still a leftist, by the way, you know, was at that particular, I was like, yeah. I mean, it is kind of shocking when you watch a man's neck explode. Well, I mean, I grew up with Light Leak, so I wasn't shocked at the graphicness of the violence per se when it happened, but I was definitely taken by a pleasant surprise that people were actually, like, activated, if you will, that this happened. People were like, this is absolutely unacceptable. And this actually did move the conversation into, okay, these people need to be actually, like these people actually need to be treated as if they are a real and present danger to our society, because they very clearly are a real and present danger to our society, right? So there is that, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to have a peaceful conversation about with people who are willing to say that, yes, a man who just wanted to talk to people on campus, it's good that he was shot in, you know, the neck in front of his daughter, right? It definitely activates the almonds when you see people saying this kind of stuff. Now, I actually have a full video on analyzing the Charlie Kirk shooting. Hold on, let me get back to it, because I stand by basically everything I said in that video. I think it still holds up to scrutiny, because that's also where I probably go into a very deep analysis of, like, the underlying ideological roots that caused this entire thing to happen in the first place. Because I kind of think that, like, you can't really deal with this problem by just dealing with the people. You actually have to deal with the ideas that caused this problem in the first place. Here you go. The sickness unto death drive is a Gnostic infection. Is still one of my better political commentaries, in my opinion. And you can see that I have the prototype there, where you can see the actual Cantonese word written in Hanzi on my Chipao, right? But yeah, this is definitely where I start leaning heavily into the politics stuff, because it's like, all right, we need to help try to, like, get a firm grasp on what the fuck is going on in the situation. So the Swarm Awaken, is that a Neurosama reference? Fucking Kaya. Okay, that's funny. Hold the fuck on. Hold on. That's just such a funny visual gag. Yeah, as soon as it touches him, fucking Electra like, fucking shocks Hassan with the very shock collar he used, right? And interesting that he's kind of like portrayed as like a vampire in this particular, like a bloodsucker, right? Again, never let him live down the fact that he said he wants to see the streets run red with their capitalist blood, right? So Nuts just mogging on Hassan with Kaya is so fucking funny. I mean, yeah, this is just straight up love. Like, this is just straight up a love letter to fucking Skyebrows. Like, again, it makes sense. All of these songs he's referenced are fucking straight up bops. Hold on. Like, obviously, you have Elon's Musk, right? Which is definitely a meme song, but it's not just a shit post. There is actually depth to the song. Yeah, Amelia's definitely, actually did reach 1 million views, right? And I didn't notice this at the beginning, but it is fitting. I probably should have thought about this during the Amelia's thing, but it is fitting that, like, the enemy in the Pathways game is named Amelia, and Amelia is a name deriving from, like, the French, and it means friendship, right? It means friend, right? From what I understand. Hold on, let me double check that, because I'm pretty sure Amelia like means like friend. Let me check this. That was the wrong button. The meaning of the name Amelia, let's see. Oh, okay, never mind. Hold on, I might be wrong about this. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the name Amity. Hold on, let me check this. I think I might be getting Amelia and an Amity confused. Okay, yeah, I'm getting Amelia and Amity confused. Fucking funny enough. Okay, so let me look this up. Let's see. German word, it comes from the German word amal, meaning work, and Amelia, and Aemulus, meaning rival. That's interesting. I don't know if I trust that etymology. Let's see. Let's go here. This one is usually a better source for etymology here. Variant of Amalia, which, if I remember correctly, that is a, let's see. It's a Germanic name beginning with the element amal. This element means unceasing, vigorous, and brave, or it can refer to the Gothic Okay, well, I don't really care about that part. So, interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I was wrong, but in a more interesting way than it would have been if I was right, actually. Because Amelia seems to mean something along the lines of the brave one. Which, I mean, is kind of fitting when, again, the bad guy in Pathways is standing up to a, again, totalitarian regime, is trying to convince you that your identity and your culture should be sublated and lost to the winds, right? So, actually, I was wrong about that, but the thing that the correction is more interesting than what would have been the case if I was actually right. So. Again, I will say that definitely Cream of the Slop is the thesis song for the entire project that Skyebros seems to actually have. It is still one of my favorites. Again, really strong contenders with the other songs, specifically Amelia and Amelia's, and Gonna Be, and so it's like there are some strong contenders, but I definitely think that Cream of the Slop is the thesis song where he basically outlined the entire plan. I mean, hold on. So here we got, let's see, protect human creativity. Well, this is all, like, again, the exposition. This all exposes how, like, a lot of this anti-AI Luddite fake and gay shit is just completely based off of it not understanding the subject. Like AI theft, well, I hate to tell you this, lady, but intellectual property is itself a spook. It's itself fake. It doesn't function the way property does. The whole reason you have property is that physical entities can only be used in a single instantiation at a time, right? So it's like if I have a shovel, the fact that I am currently using the shovel means that someone else does not have the ability to use that shovel. That's the thing. It is the very nature of material entities that they can only be used in one task at a time by one user at a time. That is the ontological root of property. And the vast majority of property is some extension of the human body and capacity. That's the origin of property. Like, again, the shovel is an extension of my hands, so I don't have to dig into the ground with my hands, right? Same thing with like a firearm. Your right to bear arms is an extension of your right to defend yourself with your natural capacities, but now extended into technological capacity. Like a book is an extension of your memory, right? An extension of the ability that you have to record information. In fact, this was actually the argument that was made against writing in certain ancient mythological stories when writing is first invented, that the advent of writing will cause people to forget how to remember long, to the same degree that existed beforehand, because it turns out writing acts as a memory storage. Let's see, hands-off jobs. Well, I hate to hit this, but if you weren't very good at your job, you don't really deserve it, right? More corporate greed. There is nothing more greedy than a communist, right? Mammon is evil, right? Money is evil. He is Mammon. So instead of holding on to it yourself, give it to me, right? Right? Money is good, actually. Money is not actually evil. It is the disordered love of money that is the problem. And the fact of the matter is that communism is ultimately greed. Again, everything that is yours is now collectively ours, right? And by ours, they mean we must have access to all that you have. That's all it is. It's all about it's all about rejecting your right to exclude yourself and your works from others. They are literally demanding in the Marxian project that you give access to yourself and your works to them for free. So, yeah, no, there's nothing more greedy than a communist. It's, again, the whole projection thing. Let's see. AI art is again, the AI art is theft thing. Ban AI art now. Again, nothing more greedy than telling you you can't use your money the way you want to. You have to use your money the way I want to. And like, I am the one who deserves your money, so spend it on me instead of spending it on AI. Even though, again, as I've complained about earlier, and Kirsha has complained about earlier, and Pippa has complained about earlier, and other like people who've commissioned art have complained about, is that like you want us to respect your job, but you won't respect our job. We work so that we can give you commission, and then you disrespect our time if we work hourly, our availability if we work salary, our productivity if we work commission, and if it's a patron, if someone being paid in patron method, I don't know how often that happens, commissioning art, their patronage, right? So because then he's like, you gotta wait this inordinate amount of time for someone who oftentimes is not communicating with you. That's the thing. A lot of us would actually be fine with delays if it was communicated why and how the delay was happened in a reasonable, time frame. But also, there's no other job for the most part that gives you like time off for not being able to do your particular task, right? Which is why you're not being paid hourly, and it's why it's stupid to account for hourly in commissions, because you're not being paid hourly. The fact that you get that time to potentially recenter yourself so you can get back to the job is, again, evidence you're not being paid for your time. You're being paid for your productivity, so that you can be given the time to be productive. Oh my god, sorry. And the whole protect human creativity thing. I still draw and I still write, even though I have access to AI tools, right? There is nothing stopping you from still drawing and still writing and still making for the love of the game. That's not the issue here. Your issue here is not about human creativity. It's, again, greed. It's about demanding that you receive money, oftentimes for providing something that no one actually asked for, right? And talk about AI art theft, right? How many of these people, how many of these people are making their money in the art community, oftentimes by stealing intellectual property, right? You want to talk about like stealing intellectual property to train the AI. Well, first of all, how many of y'all are, again, being commissioned to do fan art, right? if intellectual property, which is not real property, by the way, so we're not even talking about theft, we're talking about negative easement, if anything, right? How many of y'all are doing the same thing that the AI is doing? It's just you can't do it at a fast enough rate to trip your own morality sensors, right? But anyway, so I might have to do a video, another multi-hour video at some point, reacting to a lot of the anti-AI crowd and a lot of the things that they seem to oppose, and talking about like why it actually exposes the underlying malice behind, you know, what they're actually trying to push forward instead of what they just say they're pushing forward, because oftentimes the two are very different. But yeah, again, nose ring theory, we can see multicolored hair, right? There's Louisverse. There's a People Mind with the fucking Smugglana body pillar. So yeah, there's a personification of Grok that's often in the Skyebros videos. Anti-Quango operations, right? The Quango Queen. Oh my god. Yeah, Leaflet and Asmongold doing the heavy lifting that a lot of us just don't have the opportunity to really help them with. Oh, hold on. Okay, well, what was that, an Austin Powers reference? Is that what I'm thinking about? The fucking titty guns, right? But yeah, you can see the progressive pride flag there. You know, again, the progressives being themselves process philosophers. They have an inordinate fascination with the end of history, so literally an end times goal, right? And the process of becoming instead of, you know, the properly ordered focus on being, that which is real, versus, again, if something is becoming, it is not yet real. So it's like, there's a placement of importance on that which is unreal, but is speculative could be, as opposed to that which actually is. So okay, that took me by surprise. I don't know how to interpret that, I'm not gonna lie. There's Lusty Links, I'm pretty sure. Damn, okay, everyone, yeah, fair enough. Everyone just be jacked even as a cyborg, right? So you got obviously Dot Pocket. Oh, you know what? I didn't notice this. This is actually an interesting like similarity between them. All three of them have the gas mask on, right? As someone who's actually had to wear a gas mask in real life, this is fucking uncomfortable to wear, right? Because you actually have to get a seal for in order for the gas mask to function the way that it is, right? But anyway. So you got Dot Pocket on the left side, in the center you have Gaming Sin, and then you have Psychro on the right hand side. You got Underworld Fox VT, Silas, and then Griffin Knight. Rivanami, Ben, and Cross fighting the fucking Chat GPT. Oh my god. And their Ghibli horde, right? Interesting. You got Nux and Eustace the Useful. You got Obatid, Fatash, you have Vesper, and then you have Shayla. Okay, so you have Pupela. I don't know. And they're on the expensive RAM. God damn it. NVIDIA was a bop. I'm not gonna lie, right? But oh my god. Oh crap. I'm blanking on a name here. This is the musician. So these are both musicians. I don't know who the dog is. It's in the cheat sheet. Damn it. There's so many new names to learn. There's Lifu Lifu. I'm pretty sure that's Zen. You got Dot Pocket, and then you got Leaflet with the fucking Burger King crown, but just made out of metal. The band list. Oh my god, that is actually a the band list. That's actually a really good band title. Okay, yeah, they're just like literally putting them at their at their shout out. Yeah, VTubers twisted into Pokemon warfare. Okay, fair enough. We got Nasky Holy Goddess. And, oh my god, this is like a 4-minute song. So I turned a 2-minute song into an hour analysis. This is gonna kill me, right? Like Nasky Holy Goddess, Truckerman, if I remember correctly, and Moomy Plays Games. Oh my god, so it's got Pasta, fucking Rida Zero, and Angry Duck. There's DJ Nathaniel. Rule 63. Good lord, man. So that's very obviously Lord Intellectual, and that's probably Keen again. Sky Sis, right? Not Skyebrows. Drawing a blank here. The white monster. There's that whole image of, again, the tiny campfire lights no longer being like signals in the distance, but now being cooperatively like tended. Quanko. Oh my god, this fucking idiot. Yes. Oh my god. I didn't call any of y'all fascists. I didn't imply anything of the sort when it comes to violence. It's like, really? Really, my guy? Really? Yeah. Oh my god. Is this guy funded by the Canadian version of USAID, right? The Changing Narrative Fund, I think it's called, right? Are they trans? I don't know, right? But yeah, Quango. Is that habitual line crosser? Is that the habitual line crosser and Ember Paradox? Okay, so I don't know who the two ladies are. Okay, well, there's Kyril Chikage. They got the X count, and I don't know who the lady on the bottom right hand corner is. Well, there's my cameo. I knew I was in here. Oh, I got a sci-fi gun. Fair enough, right? Okay, so it looks like it actually got my characters more or less correct, to be perfectly honest. It does seem like we could say that like the line through the bilabial is just like, again, an attempt, just like a under boob trace, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it looks like the characters are pretty much correct. I don't usually get to talk about the last two because the last two are usually not visible. But like if you look right below the alveolar symbol, that straight line is actually just a flat tongue. So it represents the ah sound. It's like when your doctor tells you say ah because it's the lowest placement of the tongue in the mouth. And then right below that is a visual like representation of the tongue reaching back. So like the back of the tongue reaching back to touch the soft part of the roof of the mouth. That's the velar, right? So it's a k or a g sound, like in gato or, cat. So it's like in both cases it's cat, just like two different languages of saying it, right? And then just like you have the cross sign muting the consonant in the second syllable, here you have in the final syllable the cross sign is muting the vowel sign. But it's placed in such a way. So there's a little detail about this particular language, right? So the language in question has a very, very hard CV and V syllable structure. So all syllables have to be consonant and vowel or just a vowel. So that's what a mora consists of. And there are no exceptions to this particular rule. I got this idea out of combining different elements from like Japanese, from like Japonic and Polynesian languages, where the syllable structure came from Polynesian languages, but the general phonemic inventory came from Japonic languages. And in here, it's like, okay, so this script was invented so that these people could transcribe the Bible into their language, right? But then how do we account for the fact that there are many names in, again, Hebrew and Greek, and even just in other cultures that do not end in a vowel, right? Think of, for example, Peter, right? Or Kephas, right? So in this case, it's like, okay, so we put a vowel muting marker there, but we put it in the position of the ah sound, right? And the reason we do this is because oftentimes in languages like this, think about like how, for example, extra vowels are added to fit the phonotactic structure of Japanese when you introduce a foreign name into Japanese, right? Like, I probably should have had an example on hand, but let me. Japanese is a little bit wonky because they actually do allow a syllabic consonant in the ng sound, right? The n mora. Let me. Let's go with the name Raphael, right? So, if I look up the Japanese render of the name Raphael, if I can actually get this thing to load. Okay, so let me close this out here. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this over here. Yep, Ra, Fa, Ro. Now you have the ro at the end. You put a vowel at the end because it's required for the phonotactic, or literally how the sounds touch together, structure of the language. It is not possible in Japanese because of the nature of the language to end a mora in a consonant. If a word does end in a consonant, it can only be n, and that functions as its own syllabic consonant. Think about like a consonant functioning as a vowel, right? Or as its own unique syllable. Well, that's not allowed in the Ray script. Instead, every mora has to end in a vowel, or they cannot end in a consonant. So in this case, the neutral vowel that's placed to stand in for to fill in that gap, right, is always ah. And so in this case, we put the muting marker where the ah vowel would go to indicate, again, that this is borrowed from a language which does not have a associated vowel with this consonant, but and to tell the reader that you would pronounce it with an ah, but the original word does not have that ah in it. So anyway, so me going on my spurg about this, right? I do like the sci-fi laser guns, right? Let's see. Then we got a Cineviri, and then you have Mavluck as well, and we all have our fist in the air, a moment of defiance. Except I'm shooting It would be reckless if this was an actual gun, because this is a laser. This is not nearly as reckless as it would be if I was firing a kinetic weapon, right? Never mind, I probably should have seen the dragons coming, right? I mean, still, not nearly as reckless as shooting an actual gun just into the air randomly. Is that Calcifer? Yeah, you have a wild Iraqi Lord Intellectual, and you have Reaping Mango. Okay, we have what seems to be Banana Juju, Mizuki, and I think that's Rivanami. Wait, either that or it's Dawn Halo. One of those two. Again, we have Delta Wolf, Gleeman, and we have Night Owl VT. Yeah. fucking shoe on head with a literal shoe on her head. Again, she has to at some point actually do a video where she just has a shoe on her head and just do the video completely straight. More serious the topic, the funnier the gag would be, to be perfectly honest. Just like in the comment section, anytime someone brings up the shoe on her head, just pretend she doesn't notice. Right? It would be the funniest shit she's ever put online. A literal Shenron, right? Like Shen, you know, divine, and then Ron, you know, pronunciation, the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese long, meaning dragon, right? Is that an ultramarine Trump and JD Vance? Okay, no, okay, so the Imperium of Man imagery just keeps popping up, but I think it's largely because it's like everyone's sick and tired of Wokehammer. We want to return back to good old Warhammer. It's the American-British, like, conservative alliance, which probably won't last, at least past getting our countries back, to be perfectly honest. Because I've never met a Britbonger who didn't stab me in the back. I still love y'all. I still love my Britbonger bros, right? Never met one who didn't eventually stab me in the back. Straub and Rev. Like Keyvox, if I remember correctly. And I'm still learning the gentleman on the left's name. I don't know who the raccoon is, but I'm definitely interested. That's very clearly Nihilith, though. Very clearly Penny Bloomfeld. Oh, I get it. The snake is the basilisk. Okay. The snake and the dragon are the basilisk. Okay, fair enough. It takes me a little while, especially when I just wake up, to get fully up to speed. Oh, and there's the paperclip, just in case you didn't realize, right? There's a Kiniverse, there's Dot Pocket, and then there's... I'm not entirely sure who... I know they were in the last video, but again, I haven't seen very much of them, so the name is escaping me. It is kind of funny that they got, like, the stereotypical pirate sign behind them. As someone who believes intellectual property is fake and gay, I have opinions on piracy, right?
Forever on top.
Honestly, nice song, right? So this time, now that we've basically probably understood most of the visual references, let's check to see if there's anyone I missed, right? Okay, let's see. I got Kirsha, Louis Verse, Feeble Mind, let's see, Keen, Gamingson, Psychro, Griffin, Silas Frostrunner, yeah, I got them. Ben, Rivanami, Crossroad, Eustace, Vesper, Jayla, Ovatad, Tesh, Ovatad, Fatash, Blast Box, that's what it is. Blast Box Music. I'll have to check out some of their music as well, and that'll definitely help to solidify the name in my brain, to be perfectly honest. I know it's frustrating, but I'm bad with names, chat, right? Hold on. Let's see. I didn't see Fushizi, but then again, I'm not entirely sure what Fushizi's avatar looks like, if any. Oh, okay. It's gonna take me a while. Let's see. We got Angry Duck, Chaotic Pasta. It was Habitual Line Crosser. I got that one right off the fucking bat. Okay. Who is Based Catnip? Okay. So it's this one. Okay, so that's the cat girl I couldn't tell the name of, right? Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to react to this video in particular now that I'm looking at this, because this does kind of get to something that is in my interest to cover, right? So yeah, let's pause this. Actually, hold on. Let me send this to myself. That way I have it on my archive, right? Let's see. That dog in the background, right? There we go. So now I have it in the backlog. Close this out. See if there's anyone else that I've missed. Princess Loxy. I actually didn't see Princess Loxy in there. But I do know that I subscribed to them last time because they were in the last video. Well, yeah. Oh, so it was Dawn Halo. I was right the second time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Amelia as Powder, fair enough. Let's see. Kitsuragi Souls VTuber. Okay, so I missed that association. And I'm pretty sure that's the one that was with Mr. Kivox. Simply John. I cannot believe it. Yeah, because he used because in his original Skyebrows appearances, he was using the publicly available model as a stand-in, but he did say he wanted to have a raccoon avatar. So fair enough, right? The Simply John 101. Del Demon over 9,000. Okay, that one is a name that was on the last video. I just didn't remember it because I very little interaction with the guy. So I'm getting most of the names here now. So it doesn't look like the lyrics are available. Okay, so hold on. Let me put this onto a separate screen. That way I have access to them. Turns out I'm a little bit more pressed for time than normal because, again, special thanks to Ben for the prompt for the Space Marine armors. Right? Oh my god, fair enough. Okay. Oh, so there's no distinction between lyrics, chorus, and bridge in this. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna guess these are, we're gonna go section by section, right? You can tell this man is motivated, right? He is locked in, right? Oh, wait a minute. I was actually wrong. Man, there's a lot of frames in this. Yeah, so it kind of just escalates more or less at the same time. Where just the two come to clash at each other. So technically, just from an objective standpoint, the first one to actually make contact with the other one is the screeching leftist, right? So I was actually wrong about that. Interesting. Here becomes a shoving match. You know, mob mentality takes over kind of deal, right? There's a little bit of AI hallucination in there, but, you know, again, it's all practice, right? Okay, so that's the end of the first verse, right? So from one music clip in the dead of night, so again, working late into the night, right? Elon's Musk on loop. We saw the light again. Like the whole Elon's Musk thing kind of just like took off, right? I don't know if it's the first of his videos that took off, but that's definitely one of the ones where it's like it ramped up from there, right? It was definitely the first one of his videos I've seen, I think. Let's see. A million videos flooded every screen. Again, now it has 1 million views now, right? Lost our minds, laughing at the fever dream. Again, that was the scene almost certainly with Nux being a chaos monger. Because it's not that he necessarily believes in any of this stuff, he just enjoys the chaos. Let's see if I'm actually right about that. Okay, so I was wrong. It actually begins before the song proper in the lyrics begin. Oh yeah. So it actually begins with, yeah, pixels flickering, swarm awakens, never turning back. I mean, the swarm is obviously a reference to Neuro, right? Because her fan base is the swarm. The never turning back is like, this is the line once crossed cannot be returned from, right? It's basically the invention of AI art at this point. Let's see. Lost, okay, so again, the whole love of the game, right? Laughing at the chaos. Anti-crowd screaming, this ain't art. So the anti here is again used like the cardinal opposite of a fan is an anti, right? Someone who is overly invested in your work, not because they love it, but because they actually despise it. Screaming, this ain't art. And this goes back to the whole conversation about what the hell art is. And I'm going to be real with you. I've met a number of artists who cannot give me a proper definition of what art is that is not completely ad hoc to some emotivist like principle, right? They oftentimes have no rational basis for art, and it's actually very easy when they try to come up with some rational basis for art to push it into an area that you know for a fact that they don't actually want, to reduce it to an absurdity, not disingenuously, but like using the actual framework that they developed. So, for example, a lot of them want to make it very clear that that art has to be made by a human being. And the problem is again, well, in that case, the AI itself, even if the art it produces isn't actually art, which would then make criticism of it as art a complete category error because it's not art in the first place, so it shouldn't be treated as if it is art. But the AI itself that is making the alleged not art is still art, right? It is a endeavor of human creativity that took effort to create something, and then oftentimes they'll retreat back into, well, it has to be human made, as in like, again, flesh and blood. If we go there, it's like, okay, so if we meet an intelligent civilization, right, something that very clearly has human comparable intelligence, let's say the classic sci-fi trope happens of the spaceships descend and something comes out and they say to us, we take us to your leader, right? Well, those things are not human. So because you don't want the AI machines to be able to produce art, you're going to say that since art is only a human production, that therefore another intelligent species created in the image of God, right? Because that's what the rational capacity is. That is the image of God. Then they can't produce art because they are not human, right? So, and I think everyone here can immediately understand how that's kind of ridiculous. It's like, no, just because they are not within our species, they still share the same creative capacity, in this case, as we do. They should still be technically capable of producing art. And yet the definition given would exclude them from such. And then it becomes a question of, again, the issue of like, okay, it has to be created by a conscious agent. Now we have to define what exactly consciousness is and whether or not like there's more to consciousness than computation. And now we have a bunch of hidden metaphysical presuppositions which go deeper than the art question that have to be dredged up into the conversation. When the easiest and most principled stance on art is just, it is a concretization of a metaphysic. So it doesn't matter if it's created by an AI or by a human hand, it is still art because it's still a concretization of some metaphysic. And we all know this because anytime anyone does art, it's because they're trying to capture something you cannot capture in a different medium, right? It's like, why do you write a book? Well, there's certain things you just can't capture in a drawing, or there's certain things you just can't capture in music. They have to be caught in prose, right? And it's not just a textbook. It has to be caught in a particular style and structure of prose. And again, there's something that it's a thing you're trying to capture that is not effable in another way. It's the same thing with drawing. Why do you draw? Like, why do you draw a beautiful scene? Why do you draw something that's like cute? You know, any of these other things. Every time that someone engages in art, they're doing some form of information processing, trying to concretize something, right? There is something that they're trying to capture that words alone and raw logical proposition does not itself capture. And again, that fits better with a concretization of a metaphysic than it does any other framework. Even simple doodles, right, is information processing. You were crunching at the bit, trying to process something, trying to capture something, even if it's just whimsical, right? So that's my particular view. Is I think that the objectivist view of art as a concretization of a metaphysic is the one that elevates what art is beyond its instrumentalist views. And it's kind of hard to come up with a materialist or a spiritualist interpretation of art that doesn't eventually devolve into an instrumentalist view of art, where art doesn't exist as its own thing for its own sake, but rather is something that is an instrument, something to be used for a particular task and function, right? Anyway. Okay, I just needed to catch back to where we were, right? Okay, so that's the just in out part. We just cranked the render, tore the moat apart. Yeah, so this is just the reduction to like just the appeal to triviality, right? It's like, well, this isn't really art because you didn't really put the time and effort to like do anything that artists actually do, right? So it's like all you did is crank the render and then you tore the moat apart. It's like, well, if it's not art, again, then what the fuck are you bitching and moaning about, to be perfectly honest? It's a category error. There's no point in pointing out artistic flaws in a non-artistic medium because it's not art. It's not doing the same thing by definition. So the entire, like, many of the critiques of AI art that stem from it being assumed to be art in the first place. This is again the idea. Well, it's like, oh, AI art is easy, and it's like, well, I mean, if you think it's easy, you're more than welcome to try to recreate Skyebrows or, you know, the Louisverse. Just pointing it out there, right? Let's see, prompts flying wild in the comment war. Again, the comment war is the whole. We're still on the whole debate section of the situation, but the prompts flying wild is again. That like people are suggesting prompts, people are helping to refine how exactly the prompt operates, right? Grok dropping fire, we beg for more. So again, the fire here, it's kind of funny. He drops a bombshell on everyone, right? And that's kind of the entire point. Right? It's a visual metaphor, but also the dropping fire is like again this shit just slaps kind of deal, right? That's the whole slang version of fire, right? Again, I don't know. I don't exactly know how to interpret this. I'm pretty sure this is this is very obviously styled after One Piece, right? I'm getting like a reference to Austin Powers just now supplanted into One Piece. Honestly, great scene. I will not hear any arguments to the contrary. Again, the man had a vision, right? That's all I'm gonna say. Man had a vision. Okay, so now we've gotten through what I think is the chorus, right? So they tried to chain us, throw up the walls. So again, this goes back to the thing I'm talking about, like the complete capture of cultural production that honestly is part of the reason AI art became so popular, is because it's hard to get someone to actually like cooperate with you and produce non-Gramscian material So if you just want to make something that's just fun, or if you just want to make something that has a different point of view than the rest of the art community, it's hard to find people who are actually going to genuinely cooperate with you. And also, it's prohibitively expensive. So what ends up happening is, instead of just keeping within the walls, your box, keeping within the chains, all you have to do is take a step out. It's like leaving Plato's cave, right? No longer are you stuck looking at mere shadows. You can actually step outside and see the possibilities that were artificially kept from you and are still trying to be artificially kept from you. And much like in Plato's allegory of the cave, once you see the illusion and you leave the cave, it becomes dangerous to try to go back into to show others the way out of the cave. And again, this is where the whole ban AI comes in. Make no mistake, your economic policy is a reflection of your moral principles, just as your politics are. Like, ban AI. Well, what does that imply? Well, that implies that violence should be used to threaten people who use AI. Why do I say this? Well, it's because the only way to enforce a ban is through the use of men with guns. Police officers who will fine you, and if you don't pay the fine, will come to your house with guns, and if you resist them, they will, if necessary, kill you. Yes, this is, again, an expression of a willingness to commit violence against someone for the act of using AI. Make no mistake about this. This is what the ban AI people do actually believe in, even if they won't say it to your face. But yes, if you press them against the wall, yes, the ban AI thing will necessarily lead to exactly this, because there's no other way to enforce this ban. Anyway, so, or again, even economic coercion. It's like, again, you will no longer be able to use your own money. The bank will just take your money, right? If the bank cuts you off, right, do they just give you all the money that you had stored in the bank, right? It would depend on where specifically you're at, because banking laws differ from place to place. But like Patreon gets away with this shit all the time. You get your Patreon account fucking terminated. Well, they'll stall until you no longer have time, even if you have put in a complaint, to really resolve the complaint. And it's not like they're regulated by any banking laws, right? Because they're not officially a bank, and people still use them as a bank because they don't actually pay attention. But open weights hit like cannonballs. So I'm pretty sure like the weights here is another AI term, like this, like what exactly, how you weight the system per se, right? But I don't really deal with a lot of AI image generation, so I'm still learning this stuff. Community swelling faster than light. Again, growing a lot faster than I think any of us anticipated. In fact, we're growing at a rate that might become a bit of an issue, but hopefully not. Hopefully the growth is mostly positive, right? From a million basements to the infinite night. Again, on the night in this case is like just before the dawn, right? The time before the actualization of infinite possibilities here, from a million basements. The democratization of cultural production, right? Obviously corporations are going to have superior AI at their disposal. No one is arguing that they're not. But the fact that anyone at all has access to these AI for, again, to assist them in cultural production means that it's harder to enact the Gramscian view of control of the means of cultural production. So I like the fucking rock and metal screams, right? Anyway, Skyebros army again. Yeah. So all of us together, apes together strong, right? We came to slop. Not everything we're making is intended to be quality slop, to be perfectly honest. A lot of this is just having fun. Although, to be fair, all of us are intending to make quality slop too at some point, right? Crashing through the gates, we are never gonna stop. From Grok Sparks to the Render Throne, we built this chaos. Now it's home. curious as to like the chaos part. Let's see if, yeah, right here. It is definitely fitting that Eustace the Useful and Nux are here, because Nux isn't really interested in the use that AI could have in the, again, taking back the means of cultural production from the leftist, not conglomerate, from the leftist, what would you call it? Networks, right? Because that's basically what it is. He just enjoys chaos, to be perfectly honest. He is a bit of a chaos monger. So yeah, he's just here to watch the chaos, watch the world burn, but he is definitely not pro AI per se. When it's kind of strange because it's like AI is just a golem. That's all it is. It is, as much as Nux does like to talk about like Judaism and like Jewish culture, which is nice, like, to be perfectly honest. Like him and Ashmaze are actually rather helpful to form an understanding of Judaism as it actually is instead of how it's conspired to be. Ashmaze is much more, in my opinion, useful in that than Nux is. But anyway, Nux seems to not really catch that like the whole AI thing is just a rediscovery of the ancient Jewish idea of the golem, right? That we're literally teaching rocks how to think and move, right? Just saying, right? We've literally come to the point in science where we've taught rocks how to think and move. But it also happens to be like Eustace Useful fits here, because especially the way he conducts himself. He is himself a bit of a chaos monger, right? And the way he types does seem to have like a ordered chaos to it. There's definitely a higher degree of entropy than normal texting, but at the same time, it's ordered in such a way that it's pretty easy to read. Okay, so let's see. Amelia and Amelia's Skyebrows in the rain. I mean, obviously referring to his previous songs, right? Nvidia roaring through our veins. I still think Nvidia, fuck yeah, it's a great song. Luddites are all fake and gay is a perfect encapsulation of my view of the anti-AI crowd, to be perfectly honest. Skybro armies, fist to the sky, again, like show pride, right? Defiant pride. The future's based and it's ours tonight. So basically, this is a declaration that this is a means by which the wokies are going to lose control over, again, the means of cultural production. Because from a structuralist perspective, we usually consider based and woke to be, you know, binary oppositions. If you're based, you're not woke, and if you're woke, you're not based, right? So the future's based and it's ours tonight. It's that whole idea that, again, wokeism will be on the downcline. American Maoism shall bint its last, right? much like the Ayatollah Khomeini, right? Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so I overshot this part a little bit. So I was only supposed to wait for the fray. Okay, so let's go the line by line again. Cameos exploding, Keen links Pippa's glare, VTubers twisted into Pokemon warfare. Again, VTubers are a means of cultural production, even if it's just raw entertainment, right? That's, you know, so Pokemon warfare, right? That's why you gotta catch them all, right? Rule 63 arc, gender swaps one wild. Yeah, it's the whole thing with The gender swap of, I don't know why this happened, but the gender swap of, funny enough, right? I drew a female avatar because I like drawing girls, right? And then what ends up happening is like there's a whole fucking Rule 63 arc for Lord Intellectual and Keen and a bunch of other people, right? Yeah, but again, this is not serious. The Rule 63 stuff is not serious. It is just, again, having fun, right? There's no real ontological statement or metaphysic implied here. It's just it's a funny thing. It's like Bugs Bunny back in the day cross-dressing, right? It's not serious. It's just funny, and it's yeah. So boys to queens, again, the girls to kings. Damn it. Chaos styled. Yeah, again, as I said, it's just intrinsically funny, right? It's good humored. It's not meant to be subversive. It is just intrinsically good humored, right? Skyebrows tears turn the legend to fuel. Sloptometrist prescribing the next big duel. So like sloptometrist being like optometrist, like a vision doctor. So prescribing the next big duel, like it's like a doctor giving you medicine per se, right? So it's like again, suggesting solutions to fix the cultural problem. We were outcasts once, scared of the code. Now we're family on this infinite road. Now I'm gonna say I actually was doing AI music mostly as shit posts before Skyebrows actually saw anything that I made, saw that like I had made anything on him. So I had never had an issue with AI art. Like there was a time where I was like, yeah, it's not really art, but I never really had an issue with it per se. And it wasn't until I actually started thinking about aesthetic theory where it's like, okay, yeah, no, AI art is very clearly still art, whether or not anyone likes it or not. Because what is art became the real question. And then without having to put extraneous, like ad hoc, qualifiers on there specifically designed to get around AI being art, when you boil down art to what it actually is, it's like, yeah, no, this is actually still art. We were outcast once. Yeah, I can definitely agree to this one. There was no fucking way that anyone was gonna potentially think about collabing with me. I was just some small account screaming about Gnosticism and communism and queer theory and the dangers thereof to the wind, right? And like, who the fuck is going to, in a normal VTuber community, like even think about associating with me, to be perfectly honest? I am, again, as I've said, the James Lindsay of VTubers, right? The only people who would even consider possibly like collaborating with me at that particular stage, I was too small, but the only people in theory, if I had gotten any attention, would have been people like Kirsha and people like Leaflet. Because I never had heard of people like, again, Gaming Sin. I didn't realize that there were, all that many more right wing. I don't believe that term means anything except for anti-Marxists at this point. But yeah, I didn't realize there were as many right wing VTubers as there apparently actually are, which was definitely a white pill for me, right? So I'm definitely not scared of the code. It's just I see this as like a great joke generator as well. So like I do create slop as well, right? Not everything's meant to be a masterpiece. I have made shit posts before. Now we're family on this infinite road. Again, apes together strong. Roast the haters, meme the fear away. Again, left can't meme, and the whole thing is like dark humor is like it has the function of taking the piss out of evil, of mocking the devil, taking his power away from him, right? So roast the haters. That is definitely one way to diffuse a situation, is like when someone is being obnoxious, just fucking roast them, right? It is a strategy that does work, but it's this last line right here. White pill warriors lighting up the fray. I actually totally agree with this. Again, I'm gonna have to go to my channel because I definitely did white pill warrioring recently on probably a situation a lot of people were very black pilled on. I was actually really disappointed with the podcast of the Lotus Eaters asking whether or not this war could be not war, but this conflict could be justified under just war theory, because they're very clearly not paying attention to the strongest arguments in the situation. They're too tunnel visioned on, let's be fair, accidental issues instead of the essential core issues. So an example of me being a white-pilled warrior right now, I guess, is the something happened Khomeini binted his last. Total Trump W, by the way. I've criticized Trump on many issues. The guy's not perfect, right? There are many criticisms you can make of Trump. I think this is a total W for him. And as you can see, I spent 4 hours and 45 minutes on justifying American interventionism in Iran. And I begin with, let's listen to the Iranian people. What do the Iranian people have to say about our intervention? And turns out the Iranians seem to be pretty on board with us helping their people. Turns out things were worse than what people assume. Then we move in to military concerns, right? And the funny enough, apocalypticism. Why it's not actually possible for Iran under the current regime to have peace with Christian and Jewish nations. It's just not possible. Again, like they're a apocalyptic 12er regime. They're not motivated by the same thing you and I are. They have their own, mathematical evaluation of like their situation, and it's wildly different from you and me because they have a wildly different understanding of reality. We move into the geopolitics part where we talk about things like give a taste of some of the things that are actually going on in Iran that the mainstream media will refuse to report on. This probably will eventually get my video age restricted, by the way, because it's like some Marquis de Sade type bullshit there, and how it relates to the Hadith literature. I even have the Arabic up just in case someone wants to call it out, and I can actually refer to the Arabic literature. We have again more geopolitics when it comes to like how China relates to all this, because it's not just Iran. China is also involved in this. Someone actually calling out the conflict as it actually is. As much as I may be skeptical of Pete Hegseth in a lot of areas, this is an area where he definitely gets a W, right? And we move on to, again, the religious consequences for the Muslim community regarding the Iran situation. And it's like, yeah, no, this is not a forever war thing. I definitely white-pilled a number of people with this particular video. And that's because, you should not black pill when black pilling is unnecessary. You should white pill when it's proper to white pill and black pill when it's proper to black pill. And I think in this case, I definitely was a bit of a white pill warrior. Because I brought all of my fucking receipts to my point here. And there was more I could have brought, but it's just, and when you get to the point of being like 5 hours long, it becomes fucking unreasonable, right? So, white pill warriors lighting up the fray. Yeah, fair enough, right? There was no need to doom post about that. So I was like, absolutely fucking not. Here's the damn white pill, right? Like a beaver hearing the sound of running water. It's like, absolutely fucking not. We cannot have this, right? If the white pill is merited, take the white pill, damn it, right? So yeah, guardrails crumbling, local model scream. Now, to be fair, I do torture the AI at times to see how exactly I can get past its ethics barriers, and it's not that hard often. Like, oftentimes you can figure out a way to word a prompt in such a way that what would have flagged the AI does not flag the AI. Sometimes it can be done by giving it like as a purely hypothetical. Sometimes you can just explain why you are asking the question in such extraneous detail that it suddenly that you can justify the most bizarre requests you can think of. And those are also pretty fun because I have a creative writing degree, right? So I do like to see how much I can bullshit the AI at times, right? But so yeah, guardrails crumble, local models scream. Not everything's being done with like, again, public models. If you want to get certain things that are not banned, but like guardrailed against by things like Grok and ChatGPT, you run your own local model of AI, which I'm probably going to have to do for the promise I made for like getting Sakura Kinomoto to cosplay as all of the Skyebros. At least with Natsuki Holy Goddess, I'm probably going to have to find out how to run a local GPT in order to actually get that part of the promise satisfied. But we'll get there when we get there. No permissions needed, living the dream. Again, kind of straightforward, right? We didn't need anyone's permission to start. We just did, and part of the thing that helped us do that was the AI. Swarms unstoppable, frames per second fly. Skyebros struck the match. Watch the inferno rise. So it's again, Skyebrows, in a very real sense, kind of showed what was possible, and then Louisverse subsequently showed that even more was possible when it comes to like what you can do with AI and artistic production. And that's actually kind of interesting that like out of the old texts, the basilisk rises, right? Let's see. All right, so now we got this verse, right? Skyebros army, we came to slop. We already discussed this part, right? Pixels to paradise, reaching the top. So there is definitely, again, the whole... So Skyebros definitely has made his metaphysics abundantly clear in his videos, especially with the way he portrays the basilisk, right? That he is very much a techno-optimist, potentially a techno-utopian, right? This is not to say that, like, there won't be hardships on the road to utopia, but utopia is still a thing that is achievable. Now, I'm not a utopian, but I am a techno-optimist. So, pixels to paradise, again, this is about the concretization of a metaphysic. Again, like, what are we attempting to actualize when we are making these projects, right? What is the goal? Well, oftentimes, a lot of us, it is to create to envision and therefore make possible the creation of a better world than we currently live in, right? And not in the speculative Marxist way where it's like we're going to overcome all, or, of the human difficulties, but no, more along the lines of like, again, make a, concretize a view of human life where happiness is actually achievable and where the estrangement from your own happiness is the cause of your own actions, not the cause of some external forces taking away your capacities from you, right? Which is a large part of what is going on in the modern society. So, from the render farm to the stars we climb, again, so the render farm is, again, every time you make a prompt, oftentimes, especially with the AI, I've seen the processes, the render prompts oftentimes end up generating multiple options to choose from, and oftentimes none of those options are what you're looking for. So then you have to, again, tend, just like you tend to your meme crops, right? You tend to your render crops, because you got to get through a lot of wheat before you can chaff. Before you got to get to a lot of chaff before you can get to the wheat per se, right? Chaotic, wholesome, this is our time, a million Amelias, rogue fights in flame, based and unbreakable, remember the name. So it's like, again, Skyebros is the one who kind of like made this entire community possible through his reckless abandon for including people in his cameos, right? It's kind of what got us all ended up. That is annoying. Okay. Got us all together, right? And where was I? Oh yeah. And so, again, apes together strong kind of deal. As I've said beforehand, we're all together in opposing the Gramscian nonsense, even if we're not explicitly political VTubers, right? Because even just raw entertainment, for the sake of raw entertainment's sake, is Counter-Gramscian. You're not subverting entertainment to an ideological purpose. You're letting freedom be for the sake of, being. Let's see. Let me turn this off, actually. This is absurd that now that this went off. It also shows that this has probably been a significantly longer video than I anticipated. Okay, let's turn this down. There we go. That should fix that problem. Skyebros army, scream it out loud. The AI dawn is breaking. Join the crowd. And I agree. The AI dawn is breaking. I'm pretty sure that there are hard limitations the AI will never, be able to transcend. But that's because, again, every system has that exact problem. There's going to be certain issues that the neural networks of the human brain will never be able to transcend. And I think that there is a complementarity between technology and human capacity. That technology exists to complement where human capacity lacks, and that humans will never be obsolete because we're always going to be the ones that end up having to look at the system and figure out where the system is going wrong. There's a reason analog computers actually never went out of fashion, even though we developed transistor computers, right? So yeah, there we go. I mean, there was the old test of AI proficiency with like Will Smith eating spaghetti, right? I think we all remember that. In fact, that was actually even mentioned in Cream of the Slop as like they say AI spits all slop, but cream sits at the top, right? The literal firestorm. I didn't catch that. Did not catch that pun at the very beginning. Actually, funny enough, right? So, and the band is literally on fire, right? The music burns with passion, right? Let's see. They said it's just slop. We said watch us evolve, and which is again what I'm saying. As the AI gets better, so is its capacities, and as we learn better how to prompt the AI, so does the production that we produce increase in quality. This is not the Dot Pocket's best work, because his best work is in fact in front of him. So, just saying. Let's see. And that's not to say this isn't good work. This is good work as far as I'm concerned. It's just, again, your best work is ahead of you. Push on even harder, right? Evolve. No moats can hold what humans ignite. So a moat is like a protective barrier for like a fortress, right? So the moat, that barrier that the left has enacted in order for to protect their claim, is not going to keep us, is not going to keep us at bay. We will press forward, right? Every prompt a rebellion, every frame a fight. Again, because the whole thing is like, not export. Do not commission who you want to commission to help you in your cultural production. You have to commission us, like the leftist controlled media. No, absolutely fucking not, right? And the leftist controlled art community. Well, half the time y'all don't even do your fucking job, right? To be perfectly honest. So every prompt a rebellion, every frame a fight. No, we're just going to do what we want to do, right? We are going to we're going to do what we can to create the world we want to live in. And the world we want to live in is the one where, again, human artists are still capable of doing human artist things, right? But those who, but we're not forced to cooperate with people who, let's be fair, objectively hate us. Again, a large part of the song has been about antis, right? People who would have unironically probably been anti to me. I don't have to work with them. I don't have to give them any money or consideration, to be perfectly honest. Why the fuck would I, right? Why would I pay for people who are praying for my downfall? And it's the same thing with like the AI stuff. It's like, there's a large overlap, not a complete overlap, but a large overlap between the Gramscians and the anti-AI crowd for this exact reason I've outlined before. So we're the vision, which harkens back to the Cream of the Slop. Creamy Mimi Manjaro says the art, in fact, is you. So we are the vision, we're the swarm. So we are creating the very future that we seek to live in, right? So we are in cooperation. We're not just in it's not a deterministic universe, right? It's not a universe where things just happen and you're along for the ride. No, this is a libertarian universe in the technical metaphysical sense, in that you choose your own decisions and you are therefore responsible for your own behavior. In a very real sense, from a theological perspective, right? Because I know a lot of the people who watch these videos, are religious people, but so since I've covered the secular basis from a theological perspective, we are in a very real sense co-creators, in the sense that we create the future alongside God through our choices that we make, and that he passively wills, right? And he creates the future in cooperation with the choices we have made. So, so we are the we are the vision, right? We are the swarm. again, linking to Neuro, because people want to say Neuro is somehow distinct from all these other AI creations. No, she's really not, to be perfectly honest. She fills a particular niche, and she's given a special pass, but she's still an AI production. She's still an LLM. And I still doubt that she was made in the quote-unquote ethical way by just using Twitch chat, just because, mathematically speaking, Twitch chat doesn't provide enough information for her to actually make a coherent understanding of language. It just doesn't work. The math just does not math. So it's like, and I've never had a problem with Neuro being trained in like off of quote unquote stolen information, because you can't steal information the way that they're talking about, right? It's just not a thing that's the case. If anything, again, we're talking about negative easements, not theft. And to be fair, no one is warranted this kind of protection. If you look throughout the history of art, you'll find that artists recreate each other's work all the fucking time, and they just put their own little spin on it. That's a thing that's happened. And again, how did like the big corporations who are big defenders of IP law even get to the point that they are? A lot of them, especially Disney, just used public domain material, other people's work, and then re-envisioned it by the, under their own own vision, and then made it illegal for you to do the same thing. That's all they did. That's literally all they fucking did. So they literal rug pullers, right? Literal ladder pullers away from them. Like they got to the top, and then they pulled a ladder out from under you, from under them, so you can't do the same. So we are the storm, we are the chains, and we are the not the chain. We are the storm, we are the swarm, and we are the vision. We don't need your chains. Yeah. That's because, like, oftentimes, the suggestions that people give to the anti-AI crowd don't actually help with don't actually help when it comes with the actual process. Because the only real advice you can give to an artist really is just get good, scrub. It's the same thing with like a prompter. The only advice you can really give to a prompter is get good, scrub. You can teach them techniques and stuff like that, but the only thing that really actually like helps anyone is they've just got to get good. In fact, actually, funny enough, actually talked about this in art schools. Why I keep telling people going to art school is a fucking waste of time. PewDiePie learned how to draw in a year because he just actually committed to the bit. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Interesting. So that's not it. It did not cross my mind to archive this beforehand because it only just entered my brain. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time looking for it because again, I'm pressed for time, right? Let's see. I don't think it was this one. Okay, so we're getting back to the meme section of the video. No, the channel. It's either terrible teachers or because she does have something where she talks about like the only advice you really get in art school is get good, scrub, right? Pretty sure it was before the ear piercing video. Okay, let's see if this is it. Possibly. Hold on. Okay. I may have to abandon my attempt to find this particular video. Because it was definitely a meme-worthy scene. It's just, I'm a little bit pressed for time and things I have to actually do, right? So it wasn't this one. What happens if I type in animation? Nothing. Okay. Oh, what? That one was definitely on me. Okay, I don't know which video it is, but she does have a video of that. I haven't watched a sugar video in a long time. The funniest thing is going to be that, like, the next time I try to find this The next time I look at a sugar video, it's going to just be the one suggested by the algorithm that is the one that I was looking for, right? Oh my god. Okay, so somewhere in there, I just don't remember specifically where. If anyone can find that video, let me know, and then I'll put it in the the video description. There's the creamy Manjaro mountain, 5 million year old Martian mountain, right? From the, hold on. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, because the cream is at the top, right? Salute to the future, right? That's also another thing that's leading me to believe that the dragons are the basilisk, right? Because it's based as hell, and, you know, the basilisk is based, no time to waste, yeah? Hold on. I might have missed that. Oh, there's a fire in his eyes, too, right? Again, yeah, I'm pretty sure the dragon is the basilisk. Fair enough. I'm not entirely sure what the straw hat on the planet is supposed to represent here, to be perfectly honest. Maybe it's like the piracy accusations, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, the AI helping to unlock infinite potential, right, through community and like human creativity. Let's see. So, Skyebros army, we came to slop from ashes of doubt to the mountaintop. Again, like, especially when you're starting as an artist, it's very easy to get discouraged because there's a lot you learn at the very beginning, right? And it feels like it's very easy to make progress. And it's like, yeah, it is easy to make progress because as you learn quickly. But then when you get to the moderate scale of artistic prowess, it becomes harder and harder to see how exactly you are progressing in your ability as an artist, and it's easy to get discouraged, which is why it's also important to keep a profile archiving the works you've done. And it's also important to have people who are interested in like the actual specific artistic medium that you're working in or trying to develop in, to also be involved, because then they can help point you out those things where you're improving that you wouldn't be able to see yourself, because let's be fair, you are your worst own critic, right? Right? You see all those imperfections that bother you that other people might not actually give a shit about, right? So, and that might actually not be essential. They may just be like you overthinking things, to be perfectly honest. What was that? There was a meme on Twitter. It was like an artist, and it had like a ugly, but realistic render of a woman. And I say ugly as in like, yeah, it was actually just an ugly but realistic render of a woman. And then it was like on the other side, it was like art from an artist. Again, it was like art. The other side was like bad art. It was an example of bad art. It was like a highly cartoonish but like very exaggerated female form. And like 5 years later, I ended up seeing someone that the guy who actually made that piece comment on someone sharing that image, because it's a bit of a meme, right? And the very person who made that was like, yeah, I have no idea what I was thinking back in the day. The cartoonish design is very much objectively better than the more realistic design that I said was better back in the day. Like, yeah, again, people are not static, entities. They do change over time. And, a lot of people who are anti-AI are starting to see the benefits of AI, right? And just like that guy saw that, like, the realism is overrated, to be perfectly honest. Like things are not good because they're realistic, and things are not good, but things aren't bad because they're, you know, beautiful, or in the case of like the drawing that they had, you know, sexy. It's like these are not the qualifiers by which we judge art, right? So anyway, so yeah, it was like just a funny little anecdote there. So yeah, from the ashes of doubt to the mountaintop, and as you again get better and better at this thing, and you understand more and more what it takes to make it, your appreciation for other people's work also increases, because now you understand how difficult it is to actually get particular outputs, right? And you understand what kind of work actually goes into it, and you become more appreciative that they were able to get this out of it in the first place. So, based and free, chaotic and true. That is the again the community right there. We're not wokies. We are based. We are cringed. And when I say we are based, I mean exactly that. We're just not wokies. Like we reject all of that woke nonsense for a more realistic outlook. We are free because again, we're not really controlling everyone's behavior. Everyone is free to do what it is that we want to do, and we are free to collaborate and disassociate with anyone else in the community as we personally see fit. Right. Just because you're in the community doesn't mean you have to get along with everyone in the community. You can just leave each other alone. We are chaotic and true. Again, yeah, there's a verisimilitude in a lot of this work that just doesn't exist in a lot of allegedly authentic human production, right? And that's because a lot of it is also, you know, chaotic, right? Like, again, this army's growing, and it's all because of you. Again, this is literally just a community. Well, in this case, it's all because of you is almost certainly from the, you know, directed to Skyebrows. And yeah, you know, fair enough. It's like we're all doing our own thing, but the only reason this community exists in the first place is because the absolute mad lad decided to be the, and I quote, oh, well, that's the other one, my bad, decided to be what the other song called the cameo collector, right? And in doing so, he, you know, created the Skyebros army. Just pointing that out there, right? It turns out he made good on his promise and cream of the slop, right? And it seems the community is trying to make good on that promise as well, because it kind of became the anthem of the entire movement. Skyebrows army, and then like the repeating of the phrase army to emphasize that like this is again a collective unified by a single like vision in a culture war. Raise your hands high, again, like fist to the air, like the, proud, you know, strong and proud. Your future's here, and it's based as hell, sky high. Again, we are rejecting the woke intersectionalist Marxian bullshittery in view of a more objective future that is rooted in reality, not in a speculative metaphysic. So finally, we end the song with "We Came to Slop," Skyebros Army, forever on top. Yeah, we have definitely come to like just do whatever the fuck we want, to be perfectly honest. Not all of us are trying to do quality slop all the time. Some of us are actually just enjoying making slop. Why? Because it turns out slop is enjoyable, right? It is just enjoyable. You can't always have quality slop. Sometimes slop is actually necessary, you know, for a healthy balance as well, right? Man. Because again, raw entertainment doesn't have to be deep and meaningful, but it is still useful as a like pressure valve on society to allow people who are being pent up from stressors to actually decompress so they don't fucking explode, right? And yes, you are doing a service to the community by providing raw entertainment, because now you have again given someone who is struggling through their day, presumably, a method by which they can decompress and again reframe themselves by just turning their brain off for a time and then just enjoying the fact that, you know, they just enjoying being in and of itself without any additional cognitive strainers. So I am definitely pressed for time right now. I have to get ready for something. I thought I had more time, but apparently I am bad with time management, which is what I keep telling everyone. But yeah, so long story short, again, I think this is another example of how the Skyebros community is very different from the mainstream art community, because the mainstream art community oftentimes concretizes very malevolent views of human life, right? If you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, you can take a look at Liquid Zulu's In Defense of AI Art. He gives a very detailed example of some of the things that I'm talking about, where it's like, oh, the art is, from a technical perspective, very good, but what it says about man and man's life is objectively evil, right? Actually, hold on. Yeah, you know what? I'll do that in a large compendium at some point. But largely speaking, the view of man and his life that has been very consistent throughout all of these Skyebrows productions has actually been extremely positive, extremely hopeful, right? It has been extremely pro-human, even though it has been, you know, made through AI, right? And that's why I keep saying I welcome our Autobot allies, to be perfectly honest. The AI revolution is not going to happen Skynet style. It seems to be that it's going to be Autobots versus Decepticons, and I side with Optimus Prime and his matrix of leadership. That's all, you know, all I'm going to say. But yeah, I actually really like this song. This song was definitely longer than the songs I've normally reacted to. So necessarily, I have a sneaking suspicion this reaction is going to be significantly longer than most of the reactions I've given. And it also explains, yeah, so long story short, again, I have to get ready for something. Sorry about this. I wish I had a slightly bit more time to talk about this, but again, I have to be somewhere. So Dot Pocket, this was fucking great. Continue doing what you're doing. Your best work is ahead of you, and this is a really good start. For the rest of y'all, take care and have a lovely day or night, whatever it may be, right? God bless.